Board.
I totally forgot about Destiny game night this week. I look over and I'm done cooking dinner, and it's like 8:30. I was just like, well, shit. That's not gonna work.
Oh, they're relentless when it comes to shit like that, aren't they?
What do you mean?
Oh no, when people are sitting there waiting on you.
No, nobody hit me up. I don't think it's big enough yet. Sort of for good and for bad.
Let me see. I think I missed Bulgurk's costume party yesterday. Quasi intentional, I think.
Alright, we should be live now, I think. Let's check. Live on YouTube.
Is it weird for a baby shower to have beer chips?
To me, it's weird for a baby shower to have alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, not judging. Nobody watching should be upset.
And am I wrong that I'm uncomfortable that they played the ribbon game at this baby shower? And why was it co-ed?
The which game?
Where you cut a piece of ribbon, how big around do you think the mother is? I'm like, no, I am not playing this game.
No, that's staring down the barrel.
I was like, no one wins at this.
No.
Not at all.
You cannot make a right choice.
I will cut a 12-inch length. Here you go.
Yeah. You're beautiful.
And someone said, well, is it me or she looked like this for a really long time? I'm like, I don't know.
Holy shit.
I'm just like, you know what?
Fucking rough burns on the pregnant lady.
Good on you. Good on you, because that was really funny.
Just say like, oh, you've been hiding the pregnancy so well.
Oh my gosh. I remember one girl in high school literally hid it for 7 months.
Wow.
You could. She hid it by the way she dressed and the way she like cocked her like hips like up and back. So it was
right. Boy, she was a pro at that.
I think it was her like second high school pregnancy, but
she's good. She's all set. 18, super pro.
She's like, oh, it was like, she finally came out and was like, oh, I'm pregnant. She's like, oh, when do you do? I don't know, in a couple weeks. I'm like, what the fuck?
The 20th of this month.
So, could you give me some diapers? Well, no, this is not mine. Sorry.
Love this story of a baby shower, but none of us have jobs because we're in high school.
Exactly. Your parents must be proud.
Man, since we're having our first kid much later than people usually do, people were giving us literal trash bags of hand-me-down stuff. We're just like, please get this out of my house. I don't care what you do with it. It's awesome.
Well, I mean, yeah, at this point, I mean, it's...
Most of them are done having kids.
It might be the best time to have a kid, someone our age, just because it's... Everyone's working.
Yep. Other than the health risks, it's pretty nice. You got a pretty good career going. You get good maternity leave. People are giving you all the hand-me-downs.
Yeah. Oh,
it's just that, you know, at mid-30s, my wife may die in childbirth, but no big deal. Should be fine. No stress. Having a party outside? It's raining.
It doesn't matter.
It does here. God, it's like the fucking end times when it rains in California.
Alright,
people literally going outside to watch it. It's crazy.
Oh, what is it?
What is happening?
Damage domination.
Can you hear that over the mic?
A little bit.
Oh, crap.
It sounds like some little ladies having an argument.
It appears they're laughing for now.
Well, at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut a bitch. Not me, the ladies. Oh my god.
Officer shows up at the door.
Forewarned, listeners,
Yeah.
Nub's had a few pops today.
Not sauced, but feeling loose.
I am feeling a little loose. It's gonna be hard not to fucking swear tonight.
Just get it out now.
Oh, Boomer. Go eat a bag of dicks.
No, you gotta go harder. Cocks.
Go away.
Gotta get out of your system.
Go away. Go gargle
Get
some.
all those cocks out of you.
No. 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 No.
No means yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Love it.
Go away. Please? Come on. Come on, puppies. Go down.
God, what is happening in my garage
Oh.
now?
No. 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 Can you even see him on screen?
Just like the tip of his nose.
Alright, good boy. Let's see. Stop. So remember I was bitching about that not having the hour counter, like total hour counter for Nonstop Night?
I saw
I
Moon's tweet.
literally found it the day after we recorded.
It's nice to know they're in there. It's in there.
Did you see it?
I didn't see yours. I saw Moon's.
Oh, I responded with mine.
Oh, I didn't see it. Let me, Oh, where is that? Mentions, TVGP. Click on that. Oh, yeah, it didn't show up as a conversation.
Technically, my first screenshot on my phone, by the way.
Hey, nice.
You're welcome, folks.
No, I don't have it. I don't see it in your timeline.
Really?
Let me look. Ah, there it is. No big deal. Just, 3,261 hours and 54 minutes. So that's time since installed, all time played. So what I'm assuming is actual
time
open and playing, 33 hours 19 minutes, which isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
When you think about the little bite-sized chunks that you play that game for.
Floors completed 3,762. Damage dealt 182 trillion. Highest critical hit 42.2 billion.
I'm a badass.
So many numbers.
It is an insane amount of numbers. Well, I mean, I got the Emperor's Cloak right now with the giant sword, so I'm just like zipping.
Oh, nice.
All over. Like,
Just
it's like constant frenzy.
Taking care of business.
It's bedlam. Yeah, so let me see. What is that? So, yeah, so now I've completed 3,855 floors. My highest max is 270.
Jeez.
Respectable. That's a 17.5 multiplier, by the way.
That's so many.
It's so great. Like, all these dumbass stats. I've opened almost 2,000 chests.
God, that's crazy.
My most deadly and most used skill is a whirl.
I mean, that makes sense.
I love it. I love that skill because you kind of get them moving and it just like right through the whole map, especially with the huge one.
So good.
Adventure. Have they unlocked boss rushes yet? No. All right, so my next milestone that I'm aiming for is 300.
Oh, for one run? Okay, we'll give it another minute or two and then we'll get started. Looks like people are starting to come in. I didn't even read this news story. What is freaking out my mic? Oh, just me moving. Okay.
What's freaking out your mic? Is that like a news story?
No, just me wiggling on my
Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
It's that thing where you can see the wavelength like up a little, and you're just like, "What is?" There's nothing going on in here. Oh,
Yeah,
it's the ghosts.
Turned that fan off
Yeah.
because it is chilly in here. I'm happy to be in my sweats.
Getting them sweats.
I made a "let the boy watch" joke the other day and no one got it.
Damn it.
It's like my favorite line. You feel down in my plums.
I said no. Let the boy watch.
Gila. Let the boy watch.
I should watch that again. I don't think Meg's seen it. I don't know if she'd like it or not.
That is a weird sell, because I played it for a gym teacher that I knew, and he's like, this is horrible. I'm like, but come on! It's just like every gym teacher ever. And he's like, I'm not like this. I'm like, well...
I mean, not all of them are... Oh, wait.
Like, I love that show so much. I have, like, 2 shirts from that show. I have, like, a Kenny Powers jersey.
Yeah.
And then I have the Kenny Powers "Fundamentals are the crutch of the talentless" shirt, which is one of the best lines.
So good. Meg has a problem watching stuff that is really cringeworthy. So I think there's moments in that show where she wouldn't be able to take it.
Oh man, I swear to God, like when I watch cringeworthy shows, I might as well be at the Apollo. I'm like, oh, I'm so uncomfortable.
You gotta get up.
Like I gotta move.
Get
like
that
that's
cringe
when
out
you
of
know
you.
it hits that note so perfect where you cannot sit still when that line's being delivered.
Because half the time a really good cringe scene, you know what's gonna happen. It's like a train wreck. You're leaning back from it. You're like, no, please don't say it.
Like,
and he's like, I love you, and it's like, no. Why'd you do that? You're so dumb.
Oh, I finished Penny Dreadful. That show's good.
Yeah? I've been meaning to watch that.
All 3 seasons are up on Netflix, so...
Have you watched Black Mirror?
No.
Everyone's talking about that now.
I'm thinking about moving to Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stranger Things. I think about moving to that and then into Black Mirror.
Yeah, because Stranger Things is only 1 season. I know Black Mirror is 3? Something like that?
Yeah, that's Penny Dreadful was 3, and I've been talking to Show Up, and it's a one over, and I'm sitting there watching the last episode, and like, did I just watch the end of this? I was like, yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
It was really a tightly woven cast, though. I was really surprised about that. I was expecting someone else to have a bigger role. Shit.
Take that.
Towards the end of it, but no. And I'm finally getting I'm intermingling, or I'm removing my doubles from my collection.
Oh yeah.
And it's a lot.
Yeah.
Bought a lot of stuff more than once.
What are you gonna do with them?
I don't know. Put them in cold storage?
Save them for when the apocalypse comes?
Well, no. I mean, all right, so, and I got in this argument too. So, why don't you just get rid of them? Well, because some of them are, very unique special editions of stuff.
Right.
Well, why don't you get rid of them?
What? Why? What are you, a monster?
Why?
What's wrong with you?
I mean, I wish I'd have kept some of those, those Disney VHS copies that were thrown away years ago because
they're suddenly worth $1,200 on eBay because it's Crazy Town.
Yes, and I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Who knows how much the Legend Limited Edition that has the UK and US releases on the same disc?
Oh, right.
Who knows what that's worth? I don't. Do you?
I don't want to know now. Now that it's not in your possession, it's better if you don't know.
No, it's still there. It's in a box.
Yeah.
It is. Oh, I hired a cleaning service. So essentially, I hired a maid.
Sure, like a one-time maid service?
Oh, no,
Oh,
sir.
a recurring one.
Yes.
Nice.
So that's gonna happen.
That'll be good.
Wednesday. So I gotta clean up all those knickknacks and shit.
No, that's
But
your job now.
well, I mean, we kind of had that conversation, before.
Were
I'm
they
like, yeah.
basically like, so, if you could do like a base level, like pick
No,
up shit
it
off
was
the
more
floor?
like they don't like they said we will clean whatever is open and available to us. Like if
That's
I
fair.
pick this thing up, I will set it right back down where it is because how the fuck am I supposed to know where it is? And I was like, I like the cut of your gibberish, sure.
Yep, I like
I
it.
will get as many clean surfaces as you can.
Yep.
Just get after it.
Musim in chat, hi Musim, says Black Mirror is easy to watch one and come back in a month since none of the episodes have anything to do with each other. Well, that's good.
So weird.
Well, apparently they're all along the same themes, but they're all like really standalone, which is kind of nice.
I don't know, man. I kind of like the long chain. I like the long game.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my wife and I watch NCIS, so I feel like that's the longest chain, and it's kind of nice to not have that every once in a while.
That's a bit much to have a long game in that.
There are some. What season is airing now? 14 or 15? There's some stuff that goes back to like season 3 that they keep bringing back. Yusuf says it's like Twilight Zone. Okay, that makes
right.
that makes a lot more sense.
I can't type.
I believe in you, Musim. You can type.
I don't know. I play mean keyboard though.
Yeah,
We'll give him.
Yeah. All right, you ready to kick this thing off?
I don't know.
As ready as we will ever be. There are strangers in my house downstairs, so I don't care if we just hang out here for the next 6 hours till they're gone.
See, hanging out. I'll hang out. I
Exactly.
really like.
What's wrong with that?
I think I'm such a Miller Lite guy now. It's amazing. Like I can't really. Like I know that's a known taste for me, and I know it's going to be consistent every time I throw one down the gullet.
That makes sense.
Except I think this last time at the baby shower that it was like literally the beer that was in that tap before that had to have been a wheat beer because it had a lot of fruity notes to it.
Oh, right.
I can't believe that just left my fucking mouth.
I guess the good thing about Miller too is that it's pretty popular. So like you're probably gonna go to a party or go to a restaurant and they're gonna have Miller.
Yeah, no, they're gonna have
It's
Miller
not
Lite.
like you don't have my special Belgian beer. It's like
Oh
no, dude, we
you don't have Genesee cream ale on. Well, and someone looks at it, it's like, why would I?
Well, who drinks that? Do you drink that?
I don't know,
Does
man.
anyone?
I would love to have High Life Light on tap everywhere because that beer is delicious.
That's true.
My favorite, man, I cannot believe that beer is like discontinued.
I was just thinking how much I miss beer.
I do love beer. But yeah, I mean, I literally last Indians game I went to, like I went on an expedition to find the 24-ounce like Miller Lite can. And man, what a fucking debacle that was. Because it is at one station in the whole place, and it is a clusterfuck.
Because everyone else is like, I want to go get that big beer.
Because it's served in like the market or not the market district, but they have. So here's the cool thing that the Indians did with the stadium. They have this called the district.
Okay.
So there's a restaurant from Tremont. There's a restaurant from Ohio City. There's a restaurant from downtown.
Oh, cool.
Like all these different little things, and then they have like the district bar, which has like a whole bunch of like IPAs or not IPAs, but like locally brewed beers like on tap, and then they have the big ass Miller Lite cans. Except everyone treats it like a fucking bar, and everyone's shoveling their way to the bar. And
I'm
I'm like
hanging out.
And there's like 90 people in line. I'm like, motherfuckers, what are you doing? Well, I thought it was just like a bar. No, get your ass back there, you cockstain.
You can't just hang out.
Like you can't just muscle your way up there. And I'll slam you by the nape of your neck, you little douche.
You're just picking up people, moving them out of the way.
And some guy next to me was like, "Yeah!" I was laying into this dude. I was like, "Fuck it, give me 2 Miller Lite tall boys and whatever the fuck this guy wants." And the guy orders club soda and vodka. And I'm like, "Oh,
dude, I just gave you a chance."
It's like, all right, number one, I'm not gonna make out with you, but you're welcome for the drink.
You don't owe me anything.
It's cool.
Maybe a little tongue after this tall boy, but I'll come see you later.
Maybe I mixed it up when I gave him a little good game tap. That's a one.
Just a quick one.
It's my game. Woo!
Good times. Oh man.
But yeah, it like literally, it was like 2 innings. It took me to go leave my seat, go get 2 beers, and get back to my seat, and it somehow cost me like $25.
Of course.
I gotta avoid the siren song of the queso fries, though.
Yeah, but why would you?
Oh God, dude, I was so bound up the next day.
But they're so good.
They were. I thought the beers were gonna offset the human cement that is cheese to my intestines.
Yeah, you have equilibrium.
I thought so, but I guess I need to get a salad in there.
Yeah, I guess we all do. All right, you ready to do this thing?
Yeah, Indians are going to the fucking World Series.
Hell yeah.
Huzzah.
It's good stuff.
Did we start recording?
Yeah, yes. 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, okay, we're good.
It's a very different ending to Watchmen. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me, as always, Mr. Knobs.
Hello.
Let's just dive right into it. What have you been playing this last week?
Well, Monday Night Game Night, we had Horde mode for Monday Night Game Night. We played on casual, we hit to about level 30, and then we were all a little too tired to keep on going.
Yeah. That's kind of like we talked about last week, that's kind of an investment.
It is, and we were having a good time, and we were like, before we get all aggravated and just worn down by this at this point, we want to do this before we hit, 11. No, well, it was about 11 o'clock. Before we hit around 1 bells in the morning.
Right, before the infighting starts, the name calling.
Before we get really upset with each other.
Yeah.
I did join a couple PC players, Infinity Chicken.
Oh, yeah, because it has cross-platform for some stuff, right?
Invited me into his game.
Nice.
And I joined him and another dude at wave 50.
Oh.
And it was horrendous. Like, there is no fortifications. Everything is wiped out.
Just a wide-open killing field.
And that's all it is. Like, we last a minute, maybe 2. By that time, at that one time, like, the third dude stopped moving. So he was getting peeled right away.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was a disaster. So I had enough of that. I felt bad. I just kind of dropped. Didn't say bye. Because there's no cross chat.
Oh.
That's the purpose. You can't communicate when you're on a cross-platform, and that's...
That makes it pretty hard. That would probably make it pretty easy if you play, like, casual PvP, team versus team, but Horde, you need that communication.
Well, yeah, I mean, you really need to pay attention to what's going on in your surroundings. You need to have situational awareness, which at level 50 does not exist.
No, it's just, please God, keep us alive.
Not at all. But that was pretty good. I mean, that game's still solid.
Yeah.
I really, 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 really liked that campaign, even though it was 6 hours long. And I really need to talk to someone about it because I got some questions.
Yeah, we forgot to.
I need a sounding board.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about it last week.
Did we?
After the show, you were like, "Oh, I got some questions after the show," and then we were.
Did you finish it?
No. You had some questions, and you're like, "Oh, we'll talk about it after the show because it's a spoiler." And then, for anybody that, I was gonna say for anybody that isn't on the show, but that's just the two of us. Basically, once we're done and we say goodbye and we hang up, like we peace out. We're not like hanging out or anything. We're tired.
Oh yeah, by the time it's like, oh, and it's like I'm lucky if I remember things that were said like 2 minutes ago.
Right.
Especially now, then a little alcohol in my system. So,
Yeah.
but some more Stickman golf. Thank you guys for all the requests, because it's always fun to throw in a couple holes, even though I've really blown up on a bunch of them.
Yeah, if anyone wants to play this, it's Super Stickman Golf 3. It's on iOS and Android, and Knobs' name is just JKnob33. Hit him up. He'll play with you.
Oh, yeah. No question at all. I don't care what name comes across. I think I had a new guy come, something started with a P. Just played Green Zone with him, and I shot a 9 for 9 holes.
It's like, this is like some Tiger Woods stuff from back in the day.
It always has that potential. Like, I only took a 2 on one hole, and I took a 0 on another one. So it all evens out at the end.
I remember back in the real heyday of Tiger Woods. I remember you're like, yeah, I just finished 18 holes. I did okay. I shot like a 32. And I'm just like,
No. I shot a 48, was the lowest I ever shot. And I was so nonchalant about it. I was like, oh, man, I could have done better. I mean, well, what'd you shoot? I shot a 48. You're like, what? Is that possible? Yeah, well, I mean, I lipped out a double eagle from 200 yards out.
I only got
really
one
upset
hole in
about
one.
It was just...
It was okay.
Yeah. I don't know, holes in ones in that last time we were playing, the last game we played a lot of was...
13? No.
No, it was 14 or 15, wasn't it? No, it wasn't 15.
It might have been 14 then.
Yeah, it was probably 14, one with the pin packs and the clubhouse.
Friggin' pin packs, man.
Yeah, the country club.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I kind of missed that, like keeping my notes with everyone's averages on it and stuff.
Well, I can't believe I forgot about the clubhouses until you just mentioned it. Like, I felt like that was something really cool that the whole community could come around, but nobody really had to manage it. It was just like, here's everybody's scores this week. Here's the courses we're playing.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Well, no, the best thing about it is we would set up a tournament, and you had X number of days to play through it, and that worked flawlessly.
That was really
that worked
great.
as good as you could ever imagine it working.
And it's really sad that EA continually has this problem, and I'm sure it's calculated at this point, where at the beginning of a new console generation, they peel all of their games back to the bare minimum, and then over the next couple games, they build all this stuff back in, and then next console generation is going to come around, and we'll be like, oh, I can't believe they forgot to bring over clubhouses again. But they're not doing yearly for Rory McIlroy's PGA Tour anymore, so
I know
what's going to happen.
Oh, did they drop him already?
No, I think they're still sticking with him. It's just they're just not putting out a game every year because they were trying to get behind that idea of like, oh, well, we're just going to put one game out and then we're going to give you DLC courses and we'll give all this stuff, but it kind of didn't go anywhere. No one really bought it because the number of courses day one was really low.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it seems like that's the frustrating part, like, as a game. Like, that seems like such a cash grab. And then you sit there and think about, remember, PGA Tour, where this game started, was 4 courses you had to play with. That
Right.
was it.
And I mean,
we got spoiled in the late 90s, the early 2000 aughts, like 2003, 2004, where they gave you all this stuff.
And I do have to give EA some credit that, I popped in, I think both you and I popped it in a couple months ago, and there was a huge patch, and they put like 12 more courses in there, which is really great, but I feel like...
Yes. Sorry, I just researched Tweaker Peter. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
I do have to give them credit for, continuing to stick with the game and put more content in, even though the game didn't really flop, but it didn't do very well. But
no.
I think when people are looking at reviews or they're looking at, video coverage when a game comes out, and people say, and I think it's the same thing we said on this show, PGA Tour is good, but it only comes with like 8 courses, and the career mode is a little bit wonky, and the mini games aren't that great. Maybe wait for a while. People just don't pick it up.
No. I mean, that needs to be stellar off the rip to get your base in there.
Yep.
And then add the crazy dumb stuff later.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's such a missed opportunity because that is such an easy game to keep coming back to over and over again.
And I think the thing I'd like to see them do is stop putting someone on the cover for that. Just make it EA's PGA Tour.
Exactly. Go back to your roots because clearly you've lost your way.
Because that one year it was just the Ryder Cup. I think that was the last year they put it out that didn't have Tiger on it. That game was good.
That was the transition. That was the transition year between like 2013. I think it was 2014 was the one that was just the Masters edition.
2015 I think was Ryder's Cup.
And then
the Ryder Cup. My bad.
Yeah, the Ryder Cup that no one bought. Right. And then they had Rory, and then Rory was just like, the game's too easy. And that
it felt like it was missing something. You know, that sort of that thing you really want. It's the thing that some of the Tiger Woods games had and the Rory McIlroy game didn't have, and then the golf club didn't really have either. And I still can't put my finger on it, that I just want something to play. Like, I want it to scratch that itch.
But it's what Power Star Golf captured so perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, it was a thing like where I think the frustrating thing with they want everyone to shoot good right off the bat, which doesn't really sell the game because you don't get any better at it.
Right.
I mean, if you're shooting great right off the start, then what do you have to continue playing for? Right,
and like that's kind of why I think it's a really weird missed opportunity that there's not a Hot Shots Golf out for PS4 yet. That's what I want. That's what Power Star Golf did really well, where it took skill to play, but it was still fun and it was still crazy. Like, you could shoot a really good game in Power Star Golf, and it would reward you, or you could just play with the thing that magnets the ball towards the hole. Either one was fun.
But how did we get on Power Star Golf from
what were you talking
Stickman
about?
Golf? Oh, Stickman Golf. Okay. All right, so it all comes
one of those
full
weird
circle.
People.
All right, animation nominations, still awesome. I cannot get by Beefsquatch.
Yeah?
To save my life. I've almost golded my whole way up to him now, where I have literally got gold medals on all those worlds, and I cannot get by a bronze Beefsquatch.
Weird.
That's such a powerful card, man. I can't beat him. Like, he's going up like rage +4 every hit. So by the time I'm able to beat down the first Beefsquatch.
Ladies.
So by the time I'm able to beat him down, he's hitting at 25 damage.
Jeez.
So any card I put in front of him is dead, and he's taking me out in the next hit.
How much health does he have?
I think we're both sitting at like 27.
I wonder if it's one of those things where you just need to like dump weak cards down the line so that they can bypass that first card.
Well, it's not so much the weak card, but I mean, like, because almost your first card is sacrificial, and that's what I've noticed a lot when you're playing online. Is like defense Peter, defense Bob, defense Bobby, defense whatever.
Sure.
Because he has 0 hit points, or 0 attack points, and a lot of hit points.
Right.
That he's just taking the punishment on that first card.
Yeah.
But once he upgrades that first card, and then it becomes a juggernaut that I can't get through.
Right.
Everything else is fine, even though I am so mad that I missed the end of the bottle cap with the Alamo beer, the beer caps. I was like 4 caps away from getting Gene Bob as
nice.
a card. And now, instead of that card costing 100 bottle caps, now it costs 100 or 3,000. Whatchamacallits now? 3,000.
The tokens, the coins.
Candy coins now.
Oh, wow.
So And
I'm
same thing
good,
with Junk
thank you.
Fry. Like that's like what I have like Bad Tina as a card,
Right.
which is actually like a combination card that I just have right from the get go. I can just spawn her and she just crushes everything.
Nice.
But man, it's a good game.
Yeah.
Can't get by the Squatch though. Cannot get by him.
One day.
Nonstop Night.
Yeah. Yes.
So they have a Halloween thing going on. Oh my god, I should check if that quest is open. I'll do that in a minute. So they have a Halloween little quest thing going on right now where like, so there's like pumpkins and spider webs and all over the place, and like there's a Halloweeny chest that you can unlock by completing 3 of the Halloween bounties.
I'm sorry. Is this just like a prop plane that's circling the neighborhood? What's...
It's a hobbyist.
Yeah.
He's in the hang glider.
It's a
with
very
the
powerful drone.
But yeah, so there's like this Halloween thing where it's like, like the first bounty was like kill 200 or break 200 pumpkins, and all of a sudden like, all right, you get like 10 rubies. I'm like, okay, cool. Then the other one's like kill 200 or break 200 pumpkins with whirl. So I'm using my whirl technique like all the time, just blasting through these things. I don't know what this third bounty is because that's the only one I've left to complete. And we have like till Halloween to do all 3 of these, by the way.
Nice.
But yeah, man, it's really good.
Yeah.
Like and now they've updated. Now like the guy's playing like wild stallions on his sword when you kill a boss and stuff.
You know, Marvel Avengers Academy has a really good Halloween event going on right now, and I like Halloween event in a lot of these games. Halloween events in a lot of these games. It's just kind of fun to see, like Nonstop Night, a game that's... I was going to say it's pretty static, but that makes it sound negative. But there's really... there's the beach level, there's the indoor dungeon level, it's the standard stuff,
Yeah.
But seeing pumpkins and cobwebs on it is always kind of fun.
Oh, I mean, even on like the splash screen, like right off the rip, he has a broomstick
Great.
in his pack, and all the little stuff with him.
Actually, there's a really good Destiny Halloween event coming up on Tuesday. One of the new ghost shells you can get is the ghost with a sheet over it. So the ghost dressed up as a ghost.
That's great.
The other one is the devil
Yeah,
ghost.
also if he was like a flying jack-o'-lantern,
Well,
would be great.
yeah, there's a lot of the ones that can turn your character into that again this year. But the other ghost is the standard ghost, but he's taped on 2 cardboard devil horns, and a tail is coming off. And it's all very much like paper mache. It's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. And what I was complaining about last week was not having a lifetime hour counter,
Right.
and I literally found it the next time I opened the game after the podcast.
Started digging.
So yeah, that is over 3,000 hours since install. I have played that game.
Yeah.
So it's a good game.
Well
You should
worth
go down.
the couple bucks you tossed at it for a cool dragon.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. I wish it would beg me for more money because I want to throw more money at it.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have. If that's maybe the one thing that it's sort of a fine line because you don't want to get into a position where, like, every time you open the game, it says like, "There's new stuff in the store. It's $10." Like every month you have something you can buy. But it'd almost be nice if there was like a walking jack-o'-lantern you could buy and it would last for like 3 months.
Come on, we have a ghost log. How much more Halloweeny do we need to get?
That's true. And I'll put like a black cat on top of him doing that like scared cat thing.
Whee!
Yeah.
But yeah, the game's still solid. I don't know how much more I can say about it, but it's a
Go
great
download it
game.
if you haven't played it.
It doesn't bug you a lot. It lets you know when there's a new bounty. It lets you know if you ran into a boss that you need to have some attention with. But
Yeah.
for the most part, she plays itself.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing. And then last game I played this week was Battlefield 1.
I was wondering if you picked that up. I was wondering if it came out last week.
And apparently I broke street date on it.
Great.
So I got it Tuesday.
Okay.
I got an email from Best Buy saying, "Hey, your order's ready. I'm like, awesome. I'll go pick it up.
Swing by.
And so I'm installing and playing it, and all of a sudden I start getting these messages like, how are you playing this game already? I was like, I don't know. I went to the store and they gave it to me.
I don't know. It's,
like, because it was supposed to come out on Friday.
Right, it came out on Friday. Yeah.
So,
which video game publishers, stop doing that. Just Tuesday like everybody else. Don't do early access Tuesday. Do early access Friday. Don't do it at all. That'd be better. But
yeah, but man, so up until this point, like, I really thought Gears 4 had the best opening sequence I had played to date.
Okay.
This one blew it out of the water.
Wow.
Like, number one, like, it gives, like, it does a really good, really great job of conveying the gravity of the situation you are in through text. Like, you're going into frontline combat, and at the bottom, you are not expected to survive.
Oh, wow.
So you play through a number of characters in the opening sequence, and when you die, it gives you the guy's name, and blah, 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 1917 was his death.
Oh, geez.
Then you go to another spot on the battlefield, and you go play by him, and then it gives him his name and the date, blah, 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 when he dies.
Wow.
So you're like, holy crap, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And then, like, you die a couple more times, and, like, I think the third or fourth one, it's an unknown soldier. Or name unknown. You're like, whoa.
It's nice to see they don't treat it like the Doom Marine, where it's, here's the one dude who's going to he's going to beat World War I, and you get to play as him. Like,
oh, yeah.
Not the unkillable soldier.
You're not BJ Blazkowicz surviving everything.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to take down Hitler by myself.
Yes. Mecha Hitler by myself.
More importantly.
But yeah, so it has like this really great feel to it. This game looks amazing.
I didn't think it would look that good on consoles, and I've seen like native res direct capture stuff from that, and that's got to be Frostbite again, right?
Oh yeah, it's totally like Frostbite.
Frostbite is the engine that must be stopped, but please don't. It looks really good.
So like, I played through the first the opening sequence, and then played the second sequence, which you're in a tank for almost the whole thing. You got to hop out of the tank and then give it coverage. You're going through fog and whatnot, which is super intense. It's like my kind of stealth. It's like you sneak around, stabby, 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 sneak around some more, stabby, stabby, stabby. Or when you finally get like a silenced weapon, you have like a very limited amount of ammo, so you're really taking your time with shots.
Oh man, that all sounds really good.
But it is really, really, really intense. And the characters that you're in this small little contained sequence were outstanding. Like the really like prim and proper, like, here's your commander guy, like, let's go get him, boys.
Right.
And time to go get the Jerry's. Like, it's
right.
Like, yeah, all right, cool. And then you're released from it. Your tank breaks down, and you got to go into this little village, and you got to go get some spark plugs. But each one of these encounters is really, really good to go get each one of these little pieces of the spark plugs that you need to start your tank back up to go back into the fray.
Wow, that sounds really good.
It's all handled really, really well. I think the tank's name's Betty, but
of course,
don't quote me on that. But it is really cool. But the part that really blew my mind was, you have this little sequence where you're an American in a British RAF pilot hub thing. You're playing poker with the guy and you cheat. You tie his shoelace together or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of funny. So, and then you fly up in the air and you got your buddy, you're your co-pilot. You promise him you're going to get him back alive. And you're in the sky, like, and it is, that mountain range was mind blowing, like, just for the tutorial of it. So you go through this mountain range, you get in a couple dog fights, it's fine. You come back, you crash back into the middle of no man's land, and then you got to hide from the spotlights that are going through the the trenches in the war zone and stuff, and it's so intense. Like I haven't felt this like on edge playing anything. I haven't played anything that looked like this good either in a long time. So
Yeah,
you get through, you make your way back into your own barracks and stuff, and you're literally like armed with like a shovel and a pistol.
right.
But you can't shoot everyone because as soon as you fire off a round, like the whole area descends on you and you're just done.
Wow.
So you got to pick your battles. You're like running through the trenches is nerve-wracking as hell. Like
Oh,
it
man.
is like.
I think
All right,
that's one of the
who's coming
things
around
we
this-
were pretty excited about was, how are they going to handle the trench warfare and making it feel interesting as opposed to here's just these brown corridors you're running through.
It's fantastic because you're up, out them, back in them, up, out them, back in them, and you're just kind of like hopscotching your way through this whole maze to get through, hiding behind debris. It was outstanding. So you finally get back in, you save your comrade and whatever his name is, and then you're like, and then you see the guy that recognizes you that you tied the shoelaces together. He's like, "You're under arrest." I'm like, ah.
Son of a...
But here's the part: the assault on London in World War I. So you're up, like this skyline is beyond description.
Wow.
Is the prettiest thing I've ever looked. Like sun rays beaming through these clouds, and all the clouds are moving with great volumetric, like just size and scope, and you're blowing up Zeppelins. And my jaw was on, like, I was literally playing this game like...
There was a great GIF I saw online the other day of the Zeppelins when you start destroying them, and they start burning from the inside out, and you can see them, like, crackling and burning away from, like, one end to the other, or from the middle out, and it just... Frostbite. You're killing me.
You can't, like, I know I'm not doing this justice of saying how amazing this was.
Yeah.
But man, when you crash on it, then you got to run through a burned up Zeppelin.
Yeah.
To get to the AA gun to provide support, and just watching these things crash to the ground, it was like, it is such a singular experience. Just this little one of 5 campaigns that you play in the game, like one of 5 stories that you learned from World War I, is absolutely amazing.
Man.
And it's told from the perspective of the guy that survived. But at the end, it gives a little wink and nod, like, well, could this be me? Or am I just making this up?
Right.
Like, it's
interesting to see, because I know a lot of people felt pretty cool about Battlefield 3's campaign. It's interesting to see them kind of going back and forth.
I was not happy with that one.
Well, like, Battlefield 4's campaign was alright, and a lot of people liked Hardline's campaign, even though a lot of people missed out on that game. It's kind of interesting to see them take Hardline and give a story that is kind of serious, but is having a lot of fun with the region of the world it's in, and then taking a look at Battlefield 1, which is still having a little bit of fun, but also respecting the gravity of the First World War.
Oh, and they keep harping on it like it's the war to end all wars, and them realizing the futility of the war in the process of playing through these little sideline stories of World War I. And there are all of the ones I've played. I think I played through 3 of them, not counting the first one. I just I'm working my way through the Italian campaign right now. And it is, man, these guys, man, the stories that this game has been able to convey. I mean, this is every bit as a revolution in the war shooter genre as Call of Duty was.
Right.
When Call of Duty first came on the scene as the World War II. Like, yes, this is awesome. This is new. This is fresh.
Yeah, you looked at the first Call of Duty and you're like, okay, this is something different, and it's not one of those simulation war games that were popular and still are popular on PC. It was an experience that maybe Call of Duty is still kind of chasing at this point. But it's
I
something
think they've been
different.
chasing it since Call of Duty 2 is where that game really stood out, because that was the one everyone bought, was Call of Duty 2.
Yeah, it was,
like
in its time, it was as popular as Modern Warfare was on 360.
Yes.
Where it's like everybody heard of it, everybody played it, you've seen almost everything from it, and people can't get enough.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was like when Call of Duty 2, I think one of the opening scenes, you land in Stalingrad, where it's just hell on earth.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what this game has felt like the whole time. Like, you're going in these little villages, and it is... I mean, just they captured this era so well.
That's great.
It's amazing. And the conquest modes are bananas.
Yeah.
Just bananas. I mean, there's guys running around on horseback. There are snipers everywhere. There's some random dude who's a flamethrower just wrecking everybody. It is...
So, compared to Battlefield 4, are there any new modes in BF1? Or is this kind of the standard mode?
I haven't really explored any other modes other than Conquest, because honestly, that large-scale map is where I believe these games really shine. Like, anything smaller or more condensed than this, it literally just ends up being team deathmatch.
Right.
And it's... something this game's something special. I mean, I'm not sugarcoating this, not trying to get more people to play this. Like, this game is something I haven't experienced in a long time.
Grown Gamer in chat is now my favorite person of the day, saying, "First Call of Duty was the only thing that could get me to turn off Homeworld when it came out. I love Homeworld." That was saying something. Yeah, Homeworld was an outstanding game, and I feel like the first Call of Duty, when that came out, everyone turned their head and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, shooters are back. Like, that was the moment where that stuff started becoming right back in the limelight, because we were in an RTS nightmare at that point, where it seemed like the only games that matter were real-time strategy games.
Right. And Homeworld was like the one ray of sunshine for the first time in a long time.
Well, because Homeworld did something so different.
Yep. I mean, I liked a lot of games like Total Annihilation and KKND, and there were good games that were kind of hidden gems, but a lot of people were just kind of like waiting for the next Command and Conquer or the next Warcraft.
No, everyone was waiting for Tiberian Sun, which never came out, and when it finally did, was a shell of what that game promised.
Yeah. For Battlefield 1, I'm really curious to see. Once you guys dive into the multiplayer, it sounds like the multiplayer offerings for Gears 4 are good, but maybe don't, except for Horde, and maybe some instances not Horde even, don't necessarily align with how you guys like to play on Monday. I'm very curious to see if Battlefield 1 will dethrone Gears 4 quickly.
Oh, I think it will.
Yeah.
I think this week it's going to be It's going to have to be Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
I mean, just because of the problem where Gears fails for us is, number one, two-player multiplayer or two-player co-op.
Yep.
That's a huge thorn in its side right now for us. And in Gears Horde mode is a max of 5.
Yeah.
Like, we have 5 on a very, very slow night.
Well, and I think it's the compounding issue is it's maxed out at 5, which is fine, but it's also like a 2-hour time commitment if you're lucky, or if you only want to get to like wave 30, like we were talking about before. Battlefield 1, any of the Battlefield games, you can pop 8 peeps in there at a minimum, and spend 20 minutes, play a couple matches, and you're out. And that's fine.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I think where Battlefield 1 is always going to have the upper hand, is we're going to be able to get 8 to 10 people together, just go out there and have a good time.
Yep.
And plus, in playing in a world where it doesn't have an alphanumeric code to the points,
right?
I mean, nothing. You're losing apples. What?
Yeah, it's like, am I?
Wait. We've conquered Butters. What? Where's Captain Chaos when you need him? Like,
right. Something's wrong with the announcer.
yes. It's just hearing those different words and then hearing us. We're going to Alpha. No, it's Apple. Like, we're correcting ourselves.
Get yourself together.
That, and a lot of the times, like, the static guns in the world aren't necessarily instant death guns.
Oh, nice.
Like, those aren't the first people to get shot because you need a good shot to get on them, or you have to outflank them.
Right. That's good.
And the tanks look like polygon nightmares rolling around that tank or rolling around the maps because it's what they are. Like, they are the crudest looking things you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they are built to destroy. Like, they're great. Or when a dreadnought spawns on like out in the coastline or something, you're just like, man, we need to take care of that before we can do anything else because we're just toast.
Yeah.
Artillery bombs coming in, like that
all sounds really good.
It plays flawless. Like it is just.
They're just refining Battlefield.
Yes, or a bayonet charge where you're someone screaming. You're like, where's this coming from? And all of a sudden you just get skewered. You're like,
son of a.
I need to play with headphones on because I don't know where that's coming that direction.
Yeah, get some of that 3D audio.
You need to get the Atmos up and running now, just so I have an advantage.
Right.
But that game is great.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to playing that for a good long while. And the battle packs have a crazy you're in a battle pack, and then all of a sudden it's a quick animation of someone with a crowbar digging into it and opening it up.
That's great.
Why not? Because that's great.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
really good. Man,
it's good. It's real good. I'm really happy.
Anything else you played this week? I'm sort of assuming you saved the best for last.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I did pre-order it down. So here's the fly in the ointment with Battlefield 1. Is Titanfall 2's this week. So
I know, I was very curious. So I was going to wait until releases, but it sounds like Gears 4 landed and you enjoyed it and you're sort of pushing that aside for Battlefield 1. Without Titanfall 2 coming out, what the hell are you going to do? It sounds like the quality of Battlefield 1, that's sort of the market leader, the guy to beat at the moment. And
yes,
Titanfall 2 kind of has to come in really hot to dethrone it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I know I could probably be through the Battlefield 1 campaign stuff, probably, if not later tonight, on Monday. I could probably get through that stuff and say, I played this game, and if Titanfall 2 is as good as it could possibly be, it has to be stellar. I mean, it has to be as game-changing as Titanfall 1 was, but just with more stuff to hold us there. Because, I mean, Battlefield 1 is just, it's without trying to any hyperbole or any over excitement I have for this game, looking back on this game from here on out, this game is a masterpiece of this generation already.
Well, and I think when you play a game like Battlefield 1, having not played it, I think it's one of those games where we've all played them in the past, where you sit down and you start playing it, and you're like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. I will eat, I will go to the bathroom, that is it. I don't care if I have any appointments, like, not in the bad way, but it's just like, I need to keep playing this. I can't get enough. I'm going to sleep very little tonight. When I come home from work, I'm going to pop this in, I'm going to play it. Like, this is my jam right now. I'm going to keep going back to the plane sequence. Like, I think it was either Act 2 or 3. But that sequence, literally, I could not form sentences as I was playing it. It was just, my mind had exploded. Yeah. At
that point. And I'm pretty sure I might purchase this game for a few people just for that particular 2 hours in this game.
And the hopeful people playing multiplayer too.
I don't care. I just think like this is like I think that is a seminal level in the gaming pantheon. Like it is everything that you want out of video games. I mean it. I honestly, this Zeppelin fight, you cannot describe how amazing that looks, and especially being involved in playing it is
right. I got to give credit to Sacred Herb in chat. Says, sound like they stopped trying to follow the Call of Duty formula and went their own way. I mean, that's right now. That's how you win, and that's the thing that Call of Duty needs to learn is they're checking a lot of checkboxes with Call of Duty now. It's like, all right, zombies mode, or we got these card packs, or we got this other thing, and we're going to go space this time. Sure, it feels very much like a checklist. Where when you look at Battlefield 1, you're like, oh. Okay, I didn't believe you could make World War I interesting, but now that I'm seeing a lot of this stuff, cool, good.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, like Battlefield 1, that's a game you think that they could pass up because Battlefield, or not Battlefield 2, but World War II was documented so well that we all know what happens.
Right.
And that we all know, like, all right, we just want to experience these little bits and pieces, like our little check boxes on what needs to happen. You know, the Allies are going to win. At this point, actually playing in World War I, like you really don't know which side is really right.
Well, and also
it's brother versus brother. Like it's amazing.
When they unveiled it, both you and I were like, "Okay, this is interesting, I guess." And they put out that trailer, and you're like, "Oh, horses. Okay, yeah, tanks. Oh, yeah, okay. I guess I could understand bayonets." Sure, yeah, okay. It's sort of all this stuff where you're like, okay, cool. I could get behind a lot of this.
It's a game I never thought I really wanted.
Right.
And I think that's where it dispels all my disbelief on what I thought that game could have possibly have been. Because that could have just easily has been a run-of-the-mill shooter with very rudimentary looking weapons.
Right.
But, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good stuff.
It's nice. So, what'd you play?
Oh, well, I've only played one game and one demo. The demo was for World of Final Fantasy. Demo's out now. Game comes out this week. I was really hoping to get a better idea of what this game is through the demo. I did not. Basically, what they've been showing of World of Final Fantasy is it's kind of this homage to kind of the greatest hits of Final Fantasy characters and enemies and weapons and summons and sort of all that stuff. But all of it is chibi. So it's this like beautiful cartoon world, and you know, all your favorite Final Fantasy heroes are there, but they're all real tiny. And so are the summons and so are the enemies. There's virtually no tutorial in this demo. There's maybe a couple of like text pop-ups that's like the battle system is really pretty straightforward. You get the 4 face buttons along the side. It's basically just like triangle attacks, 1 button defends, 1 button shows magic. The thing that kind of got me a lot more interested in it was I think it's kind of Pokemon Light, where basically you're weakening and capturing Final Fantasy enemies while you're fighting them. So I kind of like that, and each one has like multiple transformations, so it seems like after you level them up, they kind of grow to a bigger one, very Pokemon style. But each one has its own skill tree, and as you level them up, you get skill points that you can then unlock both skills that apply to that monster that's traveling around with you, but also your main party member. So that's kind of interesting. There's this really weird system where you're stacking enemies that you've captured on yourself. So basically, there's like a small, a medium, and a large. You're medium, so you can put an enemy on top of you, and then you can ride an enemy underneath you. but I don't know what that really does. It seems to make you a little bit more powerful, but that whole demo was really weird. It had you go through a dungeon. You met a bunch of Final Fantasy characters. They would say a line that sort of sounded like them. They would give you an item, and then you would sort of go on your way. And then you fought a boss battle at the end, and then it was very suddenly over. So
Very suddenly.
It seems really interesting. I put it in my GameFly queue because I feel like, as a pretty big Final Fantasy fan, I got a lot of kicks. It marketed towards people like me, I'm sure. I got a lot of kicks of like, oh, there's that there's that bad guy from Final Fantasy IV, or here's this boss, or here's the hero from Final Fantasy V. I don't know why he's in here. That's surprising. But I am really waiting for reviews to figure out, is this really a deep game, or is this kind of going to be like a 20-hour tour through the greatest hits of Final Fantasy, and then you'll fight a couple cool bosses and then you'll be done, and it'll have like a confusing Kingdom Hearts storyline on top of it. That's kind of my concern, but it's at least really pretty. There's some fun stuff in it.
There's always that.
Yeah. But the other game I played this week is I have started, and I'm 2 trophies away from platinuming Ratchet and Clank, the PS4 one. I don't know what is the last Ratchet and Clank game we really talked about? Was maybe that last PS3 one? The one before Into the Nexus? The Time one, I think? Ratchet and Clank, the series... What was the last one you played, Knobs? One of the PS2 ones?
Oh yeah, it was definitely PS2. It was like maybe Ratchet 3 or 4 or something.
I think Ratchet and Clank as a series has had some trouble for the last couple games, and I think rebooting it like this puts a magnifying glass up to the issues. So the whole conceit of this game is Captain Quark is retelling the story of how Ratchet and Clank met each other and saved the universe, but it's all through the lens of Captain Quark for the majority of the game. And he's not that great of a character when you have to deal with him a lot.
No, he's good in bite-sized chunks.
And there's some sort of clever stuff that he does where he's narrating stuff. Instead of a tutorial coming up and being like, hey, to drain the water in this pool, you need to bring the hydro displacer and then suck all the water out and bring it somewhere else and then fill it up. Captain Quark, will pop up with some voiceover and say, and then Ratchet uses a hydro displacer to empty out this pool so he could continue on safely. Something like that. So it's kind of clever. To be fair, these games are often aimed at a younger crowd. And it's very much a game that's tied into the movie.
They've always been tied to a younger generation, but I never felt like it kowtowed to children.
I think that's my one big problem with this game. I really like it. I'm obviously I'm on my second playthrough. I might have to go through a third. And I got it on Monday. So I've played a lot of it this week. I love the Ratchet and Clank series. And I love the great part is the gameplay is still there. It still has the L2 R2 strafing and shooting and doing that tumbling jump, and it still feels really good. There's really good Clank puzzle sections where he's picking up these little robots, transforming them, and using them to get around the environment. I sort of wish the Kraken Time, I think it was the time-based one. Those were probably my favorite puzzles. Probably a little bit too hard, but I think my biggest problem is it's a really great Ratchet and Clank game, and it's honestly the best game the best looking game I've seen this year. It is it the stuff that they're doing in engine with this game is outstanding, especially at the scale that they're doing it at. And I feel like the engine that this team has made and the way that they're pushing the PS4 is something that's going to get really overlooked this year. Just because it's something that's aimed at maybe a younger crowd. Battlefield 1 looks amazing, but I feel like that will get more kudos just because it's a bigger game, it has more stuff going on, more people are going to play it. But I gotta say, the soundtrack is as good as it used to be. I think the big problem with this game is they force Ratchet to be a hero. It's very much... It feels like it's retelling the story of the movie in a way that's a little disjointed. I haven't seen the movie. Not yet.
Yeah, it's not very good.
That's a bummer. They're retelling the story of the movie in a way that sort of feels like it's wedged into this game at really weird points. Like, you'll go through, you'll complete a planet, and it's a standard Ratchet and Clank game. You land, you get this beautiful vista, you move, and the camera closes in on Ratchet, and you're over the shoulders of this Lombax, and you're just clearing out a planet. There's too much stuff stuffed into this game to make me feel like I had any say in Ratchet and Clank becoming heroes. It felt very much like... First off, there's two villains in this game. There's both Chairman Drek and there's... Oh god, what is his name? I pulled up the... Nefarious. So, like, the first two bosses from, like, the two games are both smushed into this game. It's probably, if you take your time, it's probably a good 10-hour game on the normal difficulty. And I feel like every time that you get a cutscene, there's a lot of stuff happening that didn't... I like how the first couple of Ratchet and Clank games, and we're very far removed from that, but I felt like those were always... Ratchet and Clank were buddies, and they got sort of strangely thrust into accidentally saving the planet, or the galaxy. This, it very much feels like... I don't know, like, it could have been a little bit more Kung Fu Panda about it, as opposed to what we got. And it's kind of a bummer, but it's really good to know that they kind of had to reboot it, because I think Ratchet and Clank they were odd, sort of ironically enough, they were getting crushed under their own story that they tried to come up with, which, now that I'm thinking about it, is sort of like the end of Kung Fu Panda 2. But it sort of got away from them in a way that I don't think they could continue on with. I understand why they would reboot it, but it all felt a little bit off, and it all felt a little bit weird. Thankfully, the gameplay was still good, so it's still Ratchet and Clank, and the Rhino is still there, and it still just destroys the game in a really great way. There's a card system in there now, where sometimes enemies... There's actually two systems I forgot to talk about. One of them is you upgrade your weapons. In the previous ones, you would get more experience. Every time the experience bar for a weapon would fill up, it would get twice as strong or something. In this one, you go and you actually collect stuff in the environment to then upgrade nodes in each weapon. And it'll be stuff like, you put this node in, it carries 20% more.
Oh, kind of like Dead Space.
Yeah, sort of like Dead Space. And it's for each one of the weapons, there's, I think, 12 or 14 of them. And each one has between like 30 and 50 nodes to upgrade. So by the time you upgrade them, you're carrying like the Rhino, I'm carrying like 5,000 bullets in it now. It's shooting all the way across the screen. It's firing out rockets at the same time. All these upgrades feel really great. There's also this holo card collection system where you're collecting these cards that enemies are dropping and then making them into card sets. So there's a set for like the 2002 Ratchet and Clank. There's one for Into the Nexus. There's one for the female heroes in the Ratchet and Clank games. And when you complete a set, you'll get like 5% more bolts to drop or 5% more cards or stuff like that. Or if you collect enough cards for each weapon, then when you play through the challenge mode, which I'm playing on now, which is basically the hard mode, you can get the upgraded version of that does way more damage, and it's as crazy as the weapons were in a lot of the older games. The Groovatron is back, and the Let's Turn Enemies and Weird Things weapon this time is the Sheepinator, which is a laser that turns enemies into sheep, and it's really good. I don't know. I feel like with how much of a fan I am of the series, I don't think a reboot was going to meet all of my needs. Because I don't know if a Ratchet and Clank game nowadays can. But I really enjoyed playing it. I'm still playing it. I think if you haven't played a Ratchet and Clank game before, this is a really good place to start. I know the Ratchet and Clank collection is out for PS3, I think. I never touched that. I'm assuming it's fine. Those games are probably still hold up pretty well. I just think it might be a really good rental. I have it from GameFly, and I'm going to blow through it in about a week. That's probably kind of what I would recommend at this point. They do that great thing they always do with the Insomniac Museum when you start your second playthrough. It has a lot of really great callbacks to stuff from all of the original games. But
wish they would bring back those old TV commercials. Their advertising was so great back then.
You know what's really great is on disc in the museum, one of the last unlockables you can get is the original Japanese commercials. Have you ever seen those?
No.
Have you ever seen Japanese Ratchet, by the way?
No.
So he has huge Eugene Levy eyebrows. Like, they're like a third of his face. He looks the same, although everybody else looks exactly the same. Just Ratchet has these giant eyebrows on him. And it's basically, they don't have subtitles for the commercials, which is kind of rough, but this kid is very clearly like doing his homework in one of those workbooks, and he says something, and it's pretty clearly like, man, I really hate doing homework. I wish I didn't have to. And then Ratchet like pops up in the background, and Clank pops up on the other side. They go out to like this stone quarry. They toss his homework in the middle. They blow it up. And then they're just like, you're welcome. And then this kid is like, it just says like Ratchet and Clank PS2 coming on the date. And then it's this kid back in his room, and he's crying, and he's filling it out in this like half-scorched workbook. And I was like, that's great. Even the Japanese commercials were great. So, I don't know. I'm really excited to see what they do with Ratchet and Clank next, because I feel like, to me, this new Ratchet and Clank is a little bit like Gears of War 4, where they have the basics now, they have the foundation, they just need to build on it for the next one, and I feel like the next one, like the second Ratchet and Clank game on PS2, first one was really good, second one was bananas, and it just kept getting crazier. I'm really curious. I forgot this game came out this year, so we're going to have to wait a couple years for another one, but I'm really curious to see where they go. And I wasn't expecting to talk about Ratchet and Clank this long.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure I would recommend it for everybody. But give it a shot. Rent it from GameFly. Rent it from Redbox. Blow through it in about a day or two. But that's all the time I've had to play stuff this week. So let's take a break.
Cool. I gotta pee. Hey.
I'm so excited. Hi, everyone in chat. Thanks everyone for joining us. Happy to see a ton of people chatting today. I always like that. That makes me very, very happy. Now we need to read this news story before we talk about it, because I don't entirely understand what's going on. How's everyone doing in chat? Is anybody playing anything interesting? Anything out of left field? Any cool retro stuff? Thank you for streaming. Thank you for watching the stream. Third party commission says they'll push back strongly. Doesn't bring any specific law. I'm pointing it out. Blah blah blah. Directly. Interesting. Custom firmware video issues. Man. That's not something I would wish on my enemies. Forza 3 and Fallout 4. Forza Horizon 3 or Forza 3? Because Forza 3 was good, and I haven't had a chance to play Forza Horizon 3 yet, and it's killing me. I need to play it. So soon I might get my Raspberry Pi turned into a retro ROM machine, but not yet. Man, there are a couple of really good OSs for that. I don't remember the one that we checked out at work. It was good, though. Oh, man, I want to play Horizon 3 so badly. That's a game that I know that I would really sink my chompers into and just... It would be like Ratchet and Clank, where it would be one of those things where it's like, I played one game this week, and it's Forza Horizon 3. You sort of know what's going on, but over the last week I've played 60 hours of it, and it's good. RetroArch and Lunchbox. I've played around a little bit with RetroArch. I liked it a lot. I had some problems. What did I have problems with? It wasn't controllers. I think I was trying to run it on my MacBook Pro. I was having some issues because of running a weird old OS, I think. Yeah, RetroArch does need a lot of fiddling. I think once you... I feel like RetroArch is one of those things that once you get it set up and once you get it configured exactly how you want it to be, then it's pretty solid. But you have to spend time up front, and the emulation is really great with like the base emulators in there. Oh, I thought I saw the dogs come back in. I thought Knobs was heading back in here. I'm trying very hard not to open up Marvel Avengers Academy right now. Running nice on PC and playing in the living room via my Steam Link. Oh, smart. That's a good idea. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in my house. Welcome back.
Why?
You can all expect lots of questions from me when I get started on the project. Yeah, sure. Hit up the forums, dude. A lot of people will help you, myself included. I think emulation is super cool, especially on Raspberry Pis.
What project?
Who's it? Lucian DC in YouTube chat is gonna set up a Raspberry Pi as some sort of emulation station. So I think that's cool. Those projects are super cool. And really easy with the Raspberry Pi.
Wasn't everything easier with the Raspberry Pi?
Almost. As long as you don't want to run Windows on it, it's great.
I like a rhubarb.
Yeah.
Just saying.
God, I love strawberry rhubarb pie.
Nice tart pie.
I don't know why people don't like rhubarb. It bothers me. Rhubarb is so good.
They say it's like the worst pie for you because it is like a butt ton of sugar.
Yeah. What are you gonna eat? A healthy
just
pie?
to make it mildly sweeter when it's so tired.
Yeah.
I don't care. Nothing's better than like getting a package of fresh strawberries and just dumping a cup of sugar on them, just letting them sit and just
let them marinate.
Just drink that goo. What?
Just how that looked, and then you said, just drink that goo. Key lime pie, that's another one of my favorites.
I do like a good key lime. Any like custard style pie is really, really good.
Yep. Can't go wrong
like
with a pecan pie.
Like a nice curd.
Yeah.
Pecan pie is just out of this world.
Yeah.
Like Mama Joe's Pies up in Vermilion makes this like strawberry cheesecake pie, which it's a cheesecake in the loosest sense of the term.
Right.
Because there's the pie crust, there is like a half-inch of cheesecake at the bottom of it, and it is a mountain of frickin' strawberries.
Oh man, that sounds so good.
It is outstanding.
I miss dessert since I can't have wheat. A lot of that, like I can't have that because I'm assuming the crust is graham cracker.
What about flan? Can you have flan?
I can't have flan. Yep, which is great when I'm very close to Mexico. God, flan is
Jello.
good.
It's always room for Jello.
Yeah, I make a lot of pudding.
The pudding pops.
I make a lot of instant pudding at home because it's just milk and
The episode of Seinfeld was on the other day with the pudding skins.
I forgot about that.
His pudding skin singles.
Oh God, man, that show.
Oh,
still
man.
So good.
It does have some amazing moments.
All right, I'm ready to.
All right. Let's go back to Comerica Industries.
Continue this whenever you want to. Oh, it's so good.
All right, you ready?
Ready.
All right, ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases this week for October 24th, 2016. Hey, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 comes out for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Resist, Knobs.
Save
yourself.
It's going to happen sooner or later that this is going to end up in my house.
It's a when, not an if.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't know why. I've been watching trailers where I was like, God, this looks pretty good. Like, oh, stop!
That's how they get you.
I'm like smacking my fingers not to buy it.
Is this the one where almost anybody can fuse with anybody else?
I think so.
Oh, boy.
I saw some dude eating an apple, or Bardock eating the apple from or the Tree of Life, or whatever it is.
That's a deep cut.
So great, they're bringing that back. Movie number 1 from Dragon Ball Z. Why not?
I can't do it.
When we all wonder why all things look the same, or at least some of them. Oh my God! All right, we gotta stop that. All right,
Yep.
all right. World of Final Fantasy comes out for PlayStation 4 and Vita.
Whatever that is, it's cute.
It's something. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Special Edition for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
Really curious to see what the reviews are going to be for this. It looks really great since they sort of bumped it all the way up to 4K on consoles. It's Skyrim. It looks better and it has all the add-ons. So
good. If you haven't played it yet, now's the time to jump in.
Probably, yeah. So it's still Skyrim. Skyrim's good.
I know. I just don't want to jump down that rabbit hole.
No, that's a deep rabbit hole.
I know I'll love it.
Yep.
And Titanfall 2 for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Already pre-order, folks. More to report next week.
Yeah, tune in next week. We'll see how the 3 big shooters stack up. All right, let's move on to news stories. Nintendo announced, I guess, formally unveiled the Nintendo NX, which is now called the Nintendo Switch. Click.
Click, click.
It's a good sound. It's a good logo. So basically, it's a tablet that takes cartridges that clicks into a dock, click. And the dock will then hook up to your TV, obviously. But then, in a moment that I thought was really cool at the very beginning of the trailer, they just pull it right out of the dock, and the game is now on the tablet instead of the TV.
Yes.
Has a headset port on it. Controllers detach from the tablet. Looks like they have a Pro controller that'll sync up to it. You have the two halves of the controllers that detach from it.
Which also look like they function as two individual controllers at some point too.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and that's what my wife was sort of surprised at. Is somebody in the trailer, they put this on it has like a little kickstand on it. They toss it on this table. Two people are playing. It looked like Mario Kart on it, and each person had their own tiny little controller that has an analog stick and the face buttons. And on the same thing, you can play two-player, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. And it's not like
pretty cool.
I have all these controllers and syncing up to this thing and all that.
What's also really cool is it almost looks like that could work for a lefty or a righty, because I don't think it really would matter which side was up.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah. They showed a bunch of games, most of which haven't been confirmed, like Skyrim.
Yeah.
They showed a new Mario game, which looked good, like Mario games 2. Is not backwards compatible. It doesn't have a disk drive, so that's not surprising. And Nintendo said it won't support 3DS cartridges, which isn't surprising. They sort of keep those as separate markets. No touchscreen. And Sacred Herb in chat asks, no motion control properties? Not from what they're showing. This is a tablet with a controller.
A tablet with clicky controls.
So that's the basics. So now we can sort of start breaking it down. I think the name is a little goofy, but plain enough that it's not like it won't have the confusion of the Wii, where it's
not Wii. It's not Wii Tab.
Right.
Wii Tab 3.
And it's not as goofy sounding to say as the Wii. It's
Yeah.
just the Switch. I think. I know a lot of investors are like, well, I don't know if it's going to be that great. I think the thing that's going to make it popular is that it's a tablet. Kids now love tablets, and everybody has a tablet they like to play stuff on.
It's not eating up TV screen time either. Like that's huge.
That's the thing that I'm really interested in, because it was at Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I really want to play that, but I can't get the audio from it on the Wii U gamepad through the headphones. That just doesn't work. That's why I'm excited about this, where everything that matters is in that tablet. I can just, like you wanted to on the Wii, I can just go curl up on the couch in the corner, pop the headphones in, and I'm playing the new Mario game. And there's no, look at the TV to do this thing. Nintendo did say you can't use the tablet as a second screen, because the processing is in the tablet itself. The dock is just...
the tablet needs to be in the dock. Yeah,
it's just displaying it to your TV. I think it's really interesting that Nintendo's kind of pulling back on a lot of stuff. There's no motion controls, there's no touch screen, there's no second screen. It's just plug a cartridge into this thing. If you want to take it with you, pull it off and take it with you.
Well, I think they learned their lesson of the Wii U, that it's not what people wanted.
Yeah.
This seems like a scaled-back version of the Wii U, or the Wii U tablet, that, this is what people wanted that tablet to be, was this.
Yeah, I think they wanted it to be like an Android tablet or an iPad, this is.
I think the hardest thing for them is that it's not touchscreen. I don't know if it's going to have a web interface.
Right.
That might be the thing that's detracting from it, but now you don't have to worry about palmy prints all over the thing.
Death2K in chat says, rumor running around now is this very short battery life at 3 hours. I've seen that rumor too, and I think if anything will kill it, I think battery life will. 3 hours...
Good thing it's got switches. you're gonna have those.
See, marketing's already working.
You're gonna have those two things that click in will probably be able to contain battery packs in them now.
I mean, if they're smart, they would.
You're welcome, Nintendo. I just saved your console.
Sold. Yeah, I think if there's anything, Sacred Urban Chat says, I'm wondering what price point. I think those are the two major things. It's a Nintendo console / handheld.
It's gonna be $200.
I wish. I think it's gonna sell no matter what because people want to buy Nintendo consoles because they have great Nintendo games on them. I think if you're gonna be like the Wii and you're gonna be more prevalent, I think the battery life is something that's absolutely gonna matter for sure. Death2K says micro USB charger. I think if the tablet does have one, that's really smart because you can just treat it like a tablet. And it charges on the dock.
I think it needs to be USB-C.
Yeah, USB-C isn't pervasive enough yet. And
it's where everything's going to be, and you have less of a risk of anyone breaking that port with USB-C.
That's fair. I think the thing that I would, if I was in Nintendo's position, I would push micro USB for is that's what your phone and your tablet and all this other stuff already uses, especially if you're using Android devices. If you're using Apple devices like I am, you have a whole separate suite of issues. I think with that, I think between price and battery life, I think those are the things. If it's like a 3-hour battery life, I think that's the thing that marketing can't get out in front of fast enough. Because it's like, oh, I was really enjoying this game, and I took it on this plane for a 4-hour plane ride, and it didn't even last through my whole plane ride. I could play Clash of Clans on my tablet, and that was fine.
That would even make waiting for your flight.
Yeah. And I think price point, I think early days, if they really want to sell this thing, have it come in at $300.
I think it's got to be less than $300. I think $250's the bottom barrel.
I think
to get that thing out there.
At $250, that thing will go like hotcakes. I think $300, they'll probably make a profit, and it will, so it's launching in March.
I don't know. I mean, it's a tablet without a touchscreen. How much technology is stripped out of there just from that step alone?
Well, I think
it's got to make it cheaper.
I think if I was to guess, John Q, Street Fighter fan, you walk into Best Buy in March and you have the PS4 for $400. No, $300 pretty soon. The PS4 Pro for $400. The Xbox One S for, was it $300 as well? And the Scorpio coming sometime later this year. And then you have the brand new Nintendo console for a pretty low price. $250 would beat the crap out of the market.
Yeah.
I feel like you show Mario playing on that thing and you let people dock and undock it in Best Buy, and it goes between the big TV up there and the thing, and I think people go, cool, yeah, I'll take that. That seems really great. Mm-hmm. It's a different type of technology than what the PS4 and the Xbox One is promising, and I think there's been this really big groundswell of people when you look at the PS4 and the Xbox One of there's this bigger pushback of, okay, I got the PS4 home and I plugged it in. Oh, there's a firmware update. Okay, cool. Oh, I popped in this game. Oh, now it needs like a 12 gig patch. How long is that? 4 hours. Like,
I don't think developers are realizing what a detriment that is to gaming right now.
Right.
It is like getting poked in the eye. All you want to do is come home and play that game, and you can't for 4 hours. And
you and I, and I know a lot of viewers and listeners of the show understand why that is. I just got a 12 gig patch for Doom the other day because it adds a different mode into the game. I downloaded like a 20 gig patch for Doom when I first put it in, but I understand that it's adding content, it's fixing content. When a lot of people bring this stuff home, like I got lucky with Ratchet and Clank, I popped it in, the installs on PS4 are like 30 seconds, and I got like a 500 meg download. That was great. That's what most people want. But when you get a lot of these other games, and you're not going to get that with Nintendo, and Nintendo can probably market that way and say, look, you buy this game, it's done. You don't have to download these patches, you just put this thing in this tablet, take it wherever you want, and you're playing it. Playing a new Mario game. I think that's pretty attractive. If they can market it right, I think that's pretty attractive for the market.
Well, I agree. I don't know. I just see a whole host of things. Well, I mean, yeah, especially on that side, 'cause that's what Nintendo's always done well.
Yeah.
Is those games work day and date.
Yep.
They will launch as soon as you put them in.
Yep. They might have patches down the way for, like, Mario Kart has extra courses or whatever, but usually those are pretty optional and don't really bother you. I don't know. The only thing I worry about is the thing we haven't worried about with Nintendo before, which is durability. Is most tablets without a case on them are thin and brittle and frail kind of stuff. Nintendo has historically built stuff that kids step on, and their 3DS is still working.
That's probably got Gorilla Glass 4 in it or something.
Gorilla Glass 18. They went to the future and brought it back.
This thing's bulletproof.
Right. Death2K says Nintendo Cloud features. Also, does their mobile gaming come into play? Could your phone be the link to the system and act as another controller? That, to me, is something that even Nintendo or Microsoft and Sony aren't doing. I don't see Nintendo really doing a lot of that. I mean, they're barely getting into having a mobile app in general. Cloud features, I'd like to see them do that. They have the Nintendo account now, so you can tie a lot of that stuff together, but I don't see them innovating in that space still. No. So we'll see.
I don't think they feel they need to. Like, I actually was in Target the other day and I was playing around with the 3DS. That is an impressive piece of hardware.
Yeah, it still is. That's a great and great thing about the 3DS now is it's getting cheaper. The XL is big and looks fine, and you can play DS and 3DS games on it, of which there's about 80 billion. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm surprised they're showing it now. They say they're not talking about really much else until March when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of a bold marketing strategy. But I guess you don't want people to get sick of a thing that they might be excited for until it's out.
You don't know what people want till they show it to them.
And I'm surprised it's still coming out in March.
Oh, dude, I just quote Steve Jobs. Damn it. Oh.
We'll strike that from the record.
Ugh.
All right, let's move on to other news stories. The Voice Actors Guild is now on strike, the SAG-AFTRA. They said a couple weeks ago, basically, that, like, hey, big video game publishers, we need to come to an agreement on a couple of pieces so we can get fair pay for the work that we're doing. And the rumor is, or at least what SAG-AFTRA is saying, is that based on their demands, which we'll talk about here in a second, the video game publishers said, well, we'll put more water and tea in the recording booth. And they're like, no.
It's awesome.
That's not going to work.
Everyone gets a bear of honey every session.
Yeah, exactly. So basically they're asking for 3 primary things. The first is 2 hour... So I'm learning a lot about the voice acting industry, thanks to Steve Bloom especially. Basically, the most hours you can work in a day for voice actors is 4 hours. And that's basically the safest they can have for basically what we're doing right now, is just sitting there and talking. Nothing crazy, just kind of, we're going to record Nathan Drake's talking lines. It's 4 hours a day. Unfortunately, they're not capped. Basically what they want is 2-hour sessions for strenuous voice acting jobs. A lot of grunts, a lot of yelling, a lot of like guttural monster noises. But they still want to be paid at the standard 4-hour pay. Because it's more strenuous and it's more damaging to their throat and their vocal cords, it's still a lot of work, just squished down to 2 hours. I didn't really realize that it was that dangerous, but Steve Bloom he put out this big like 7-minute thing where he's explaining all the issues. That's why I'm referencing it. That dude apparently like has thrown up blood and has passed out before in recording sessions because he's just pushed his voice too far. So that one seems fair. that one seems all right. Their second demand is something that also I found out what the pay was for a game is at scale is $820
per day.
No, just one time. Like, thank you for coming in and doing, 10,000 lines. Here's $820. That's if you're getting paid scale for voice acting. That seems a little crummy. So
that's a lot cheaper than I thought it would be.
Yeah. That's why Steve Bloom said, that's why I've been in over 400 video games, because I get paid scale. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Wait, so for $820 we could have Steve Bloom in here?
Probably. You want to be on one podcast?
Can we start a GoFundMe account for this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, $820.
We need Steve Bloom and Nolan North.
Yep.
Like, hanging out with us.
$1,600. Just talking to each other.
Just sit in a room and just say stuff.
Yeah. You have 4
hours. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out. Here's your bottle of honey.
Put a little egg timer down. Their second demand is one that kind of has come to a head this year. A lot of times when voice actors go in to play a role, they might get a script beforehand. They usually don't. And they don't know what character they're playing, and they usually don't know what game they're playing, what their game they're voice acting for.
Really?
This came to a head this year. I think it was Jennifer Hale played a character in the newest Uncharted 4, I think it was. She's a white lady, and when the game came out, her character that she voice acted is a black lady. And the video game community was up in arms. Oh, you guys couldn't find a black voice actor to do this. And Jennifer Hale was like, wait, when I went in, all I got was her lines and a description of, like, you are playing a female character that's going around with Nathan Drake, and she's pretty headstrong. And that's it. She didn't get to see the character. She saw no gameplay footage. She didn't get anything. So when the game comes out and she's like, hey, I voice acted, oh, that's not what I was expecting. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's a little different from the character. Well, she didn't get anything for the character she was voice acting. So they're saying, maybe we could get some information about the game. We sign an NDA, so that's not going to be an issue. They're not always expecting to see footage, but they want to say, does the game have a lot of objectionable content in it? Because if it does, some voice actors don't want to do it, which is fair. Want to know a little bit about the character. If you have some sketches, that'd be great. Kind of not asking for a lot. That one seems fair.
Yeah.
That seems okay. The third one and the big sticking point here is secondary compensation and residuals. So, the SAG-AFTRA...
And the installation is free!
The actors are coming out and saying, when there are celebrities in these games, they usually get residuals. They usually get a percentage of sales of the game over lifetime. Voice actors are never offered that opportunity, and if a game goes on to sell tens of millions of copies, they're saying on the backs of the voices of these voice actors, if they get paid scale, they get $820. And this game is going on to sell 10 million copies at $60 a pop. And they're really not seeing anything additional. This seems to be the hot button topic out of this, unsurprisingly. Because nobody, from what I'm understanding on the other side, really nobody in the industry gets residuals. The dude or lady that's animation modeling or creating levels they're getting paid their salary, which I'm going to assume is a lot more than $820, but they don't, if they're working on Destiny 2 and that sells 10 million copies, they got their salary. And that's really it. Yeah. They don't get 2% on the back end or anything. That seems to be the really big sticking point. And from what I understand from the industry, that seems to be kind of a big ask. It's understandable from the voice actor standpoint, but the studios are saying like, no, we don't have the budget, and we don't.
Well, you don't need the budget. Just set up a graduated scale.
Right, and that's what a lot of voice actors are saying. Is like, look, we're not. If you want to pay a scale and then residuals, that's fine. We'll take the scale. But if you're in Uncharted 4, $820 is not really enough when you're selling.
Well, yeah, when you're the definitive character. Like, that would blow my mind if Nolan North only gets $820 for Nathan Drake.
I'd be pretty surprised for that role for Nolan North, because he is Drake.
Like, I would get NPC number 25, absolutely, scale, right. And you probably have no claim to residuals. But if you're in the main cast of characters in that game, I would totally understand that there's some sort of a graduated pay as the game is successful. Yep. It's not guaranteed money. It should be contractually bound to owe them more money if that game is successful.
Well, I think it's really interesting, too, because when you look at nowadays, voice actors are so tied to their characters now that look at God of War. They changed the voice actor, and everyone's like, no, we're good. I don't want that. That's not Kratos. And if you change the voice actor for Nathan Drake, it's not really Nathan Drake anymore. So I can understand in that position, once they get very popular, to bring Steve Blum back in. Steve Blum is Wolverine. For everything, he said for the last decade. If you put another dude in there for Wolverine, a lot of people might not notice, but if you give, Spike Spiegel a little bit more money, he'll be Wolverine for another 10 years. You got Wolverine locked down. So, I don't know. That one's really interesting. I feel like the other two demands they have are fair. Those are kind of common sense demands. This third one is going to be really interesting to see how this whole thing shakes out.
Well, you know what's going to shake out is the buck's going to be passed to us.
Potentially, yeah.
$70 games, folks.
There was a really interesting conversation on the Giant Bombcast this week or 2 weeks ago, where they were saying, like, $70 games probably aren't going to be coming around because you have, like, the Battlefield 1 $120 pack. If big, serious fans really want that, they'll pony up the money. Everyone else will pony up $60. That's fine.
I dropped the $70 on that one, and I dropped the $70 on whatchamacallit, on Titanfall, it's because I had a buttload of rewards I had to spend. But
yeah, for Battlefield, they know they're going to make enough money on the $120 pack and the $70 and the $90 pack. They're like 4 or 5 packs, but the $60 don't really matter anymore when you have in-app purchases and whales and all this stuff. Like the $60. They're not marketing to those peeps. They're marketing to pin pack people like us. Pin pack dummies. All right, let's move to our next news story. Sad news. United Front Games has officially closed. The developers of Sleeping Dogs and unfortunately a bunch of other stuff that people didn't play, which is why they closed. They made... Obviously, Sleeping Dogs. They made Mod.
The True Crime?
No. Let me look it up.
They were spawned out of the group that made the True Crime series, right?
Yeah. But I don't think it was like a one-for-one. Founded in 2007. Yeah, they made Mod Nation Racers, Little Big Planet Karting, neither of which did very well for them. Tomb Raider Definitive Edition for the Xbox One, which was good. They worked on Halo the Master Chief Collection, which... Sorry. And they canceled Triad Wars, which was that online multiplayer Sleeping Dogs. That got canceled way... Like, really, really deep into development. Like, it had open betas. And they just released a game last week called Smash and Grab on Steam Early Access, which has now been canceled. That game looked really cool. I really wish they could have gotten like 2 more months to try and push that game, because that game was pretty neat. I think that's really sad. I think it's really sad we never got to see another Sleeping Dogs. Rumor is that Square Enix owns the Sleeping Dogs IP, so maybe give that to Eidos. That would be okay. After Hitman is done, give them Sleeping Dogs, have them work on it. It's sad to see a studio that was talented and just couldn't catch a break. Beyond Sleeping Dogs, everything else they did was just a swing and a miss. And that's really a bummer.
Sounds like Grin.
Yeah, man, Grin. Just another studio where it's like, we came out with something really good and just couldn't get traction with anything else.
I think they took on way too many projects.
Grin certainly did. And almost the opposite seemed to happen with United Front, where they just couldn't get... It seems like they couldn't get anything greenlit. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Next news story. Razer, the keyboard and mouse controller people, bought THX.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I thought I read that wrong.
THX, like the audience is now deaf sound.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that company. No one really knows what they're gonna do. Razer says, like, we're gonna leave THX alone, and they're just gonna keep doing what they're gonna do. We just own them now.
So Razer's gonna make some amazing headphones coming up, I guess.
It seems like no.
What?
It seems like Razer might license their own THX technology, but the only thing that people are assuming is that Razer is trying to get into the headphone space pretty seriously, but they're going to try and push THX for VR audio solutions.
All right, that makes sense. Okay, I did not even think about that.
Yeah, I feel like if you can get that branding in, because, you know, THX has such a strong brand even nowadays in film. You know, like when you see THX, you're like, all right, this is going to be pretty cool. I like that big noise. That was great in the theater.
Yeah, this is going to be loud.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like if you can do that for VR, where, you know, you can sell 3D audio, positional audio, that sort of stuff, that could be pretty cool. See, one of your dogs is excited about it.
Yeah, he is.
Moving on, because we are coming up on 2 hours here. Red Dead Redemption 2 has finally been announced. The industry's worst kept secret. Yes, Rockstar is working on it.
I didn't see this coming at all.
Oh, I am shocked to tell you. Shocked.
Shocking, Jerry. Shocking.
It's coming in fall 2017. They released a teaser trailer that's basically a lot of wolves wandering around in the western U.S., and that's about it. It looks real good. I know a lot of people are really excited. I know neither you or I really enjoyed Red Dead Redemption, even though I finished it. I really hope... The thing that I hope they do for this one is, when Red Dead Redemption came out, it felt old. It controlled poorly. It looked good, but try roping cattle, it still sucks. They did a really great job with GTA 5, making it feel modern, making the shooting and the driving feel real great. I really hope they can modernize Red Dead Redemption 2. Make the horseback riding feel really great. Make the shooting function this time would be nice. And just make it a solid playing game. The story will be good. The music will be great. It'll look beautiful. Like, those are the expectations at a Rockstar. Yes. But make it play well. And Growing Gamer in chat says, so it's named Red Dead Redemption 2. Are we just pretending Red Dead Revolver never happened? Rockstar has been ever since they bought... I don't even remember who it was that turned into Rockstar San Diego. But I think that's the studio that made Red Dead Revolver. I think they're saying, like, yeah, we didn't do that. Forget about it. Don't worry. Remember Red Dead Redemption? You guys like that, right? Westerns. And our last news story this week, this one seems to be continuing to ramp up, surprisingly. Valve refuses a governmental request to cut off Steam skin trading. I thought this was over.
That sounds like such a horrible thing that it's not. Like,
so the Washington State Gambling Commission sent an official letter to Valve saying, you're facilitating gambling activities through Steam. You really need to stop. And Valve went back and said, yeah, no. We're not facilitating gambling. We don't make any money off of skin trading. We are not really running a gambling ring, so we don't think we should have to. And it seems... Oh, so the company writes... Valve writes, quote, the Commission's main argument seemed to be Valve could stop this, so it should. In-game items, Steam trading, and OpenID have substantial benefits for Steam customers and Steam game-making partners. We do not believe it's the Commission's intention, nor is it within the Commission's authority to turn off lawful commercial and communication services that are not directed to gambling in Washington, end quote. So, Death2K in chat says, response should have been, I bet you we won't. So yeah, nice. Valve is basically saying, like, look, we're not running gambling sites. Our APIs are there to make a lot of stuff easier for our customers, so we're not going to turn them off. So deal with it. And I can understand what they're saying. I'm surprised that Washington State sent a letter and they're like, hey guys, come on, be cool. Like, let's all be cool here. Valve is not being cool.
It's not like Valve's an internet cafe.
Mm-hmm.
They're not dealing in phone cards. I mean...
Well, and Valve isn't even like an online poker site. Where,
no.
A couple years ago, you were sort of looking at those side-eye like, is that legal? How can that be legal? How are people doing this? Are people making money on this? It's not the same thing.
Should I play some poker?
Wait, should I be doing this? Can I win big?
Oh my god, DraftKings!
Yeah, God, DraftKings. I'm surprised that stuff hasn't gotten shut down yet. It's close. But, yeah, it's not like DraftKings where you're like, yeah, that seems weird.
Yeah.
You're looking at Steam and you're like, that's where people play games, and someone is sort of lamprey latching onto this and saying, you can make money! Pew, pew, pew. I don't know. Seems weird. I know what's not weird, though. Tweets. First one
Twitter
is up from Drew Morrow Comics. What programs and editing work do you use/do for the podcast? Did a lot of setup go into getting it to work? Keep up the great work. I guess we haven't talked about this in a while.
I have no idea.
This will be educational for everyone. So there's a couple of things that I use. So let's address video first because that's easier. I use XSplit and pump that out to restream.io, so it goes out to like 4 or 5 sites at the same time. XSplit automatically records the video locally for me. So if I need a backup of the audio, I can extract it from the video. I've only had to do that once, and that sucks. For audio, it took a long time for me to get to the point where the production pipeline is as solid as it is now. Basically, Knobs records on his end with Audacity.
Yes.
I record on my end with Adobe Audition. We start recording at about the same time. I do a countdown that I think a lot of people see when we... It's very similar to how when we start the episode, if you're watching the video. If it isn't synced, I can sort of drag tracks around and I can line it up. I record our Skype conversation using something called Pamela. That's my backup recording. Doesn't sound great, but it records both of us. So if something goes wrong, there's some times where like I'll get an audio track from someone and it stopped halfway through. It recorded on their end. When they give it to me, it's half of it is dead. Or it didn't record the whole time. Weird stuff happens. So we can always use that. And basically all I do is, you'll see it on the video. The big reason why I count in our segments is you can see the syncopation. I basically just line that stuff up, chop everything else out, put in a song, and export it. And then I use something called MP3 tag on Windows to copy MP3 tags from one episode to another. And that makes it a lot easier for me, and it shows up in your podcast players pretty easily. And then the podcast gets hosted on Libsyn, and they do all the hard work. I upload an MP3, and it goes to everywhere it goes. So
gets to where it needs to go.
Yeah, it early days, it probably took Brad and I like 2 hours to edit the show. I was using a pretty slow computer at the time anyways. That was, I guess, now like 9 years ago. But nowadays it can take me probably an hour from end to end. From when I get Knobs' MP3 to when I'm uploading an MP3 to Libsyn. It can, if everything goes well, it's about.
Or if I remember to upload it.
Well, Dropbox is weird. Sacred Herb says your ISP must be decent also. So that's the trick about audio, like voice-based MP3s. It's mono 64K. It's like almost the lowest quality you can put, and you don't need stereo. Each episode comes out to maybe 30 megs. So it's really not that big. So uploading takes me, I don't have a great internet connection. Uploading takes me probably about 2 or 3 minutes. It's not bad. So it's pretty interesting. It's the thing I want to do least with this show. Every week I complain to my wife I don't want to edit, but I want to put this show out because I think it's a pretty good show. So it's a means to an end.
We do pretty okay.
We do all right. We're fine. So thank you, Drew, for that question. Next one up is Rio H with a two-parter. Someone asked one in chat. Let's answer this one before it moves off. Death2K says, with the new design of Nintendo's console, is the entry-level system gone? It appears they are marking to 16 and up. I don't know what Nintendo's strategy is. I don't know what the industry's strategy at all overall is nowadays, because it seems like we're moving back into the problem that we had in the 7th gen, which is we have the 360 arcade and we have this other one. We have 4 different 360s. Which one is right for you? No one knows.
There's too many SKUs.
Yeah, like we're now getting...
It's market confusion.
Yeah, we're now getting 2 SKUs for each console. That noise everyone is hearing is Knops's dog's tail. We're getting to 2 consoles, which is already going to be one too many. I think when you look at the PS4 and the Xbox One, if you buy the non-Pro PS4 and the non-Scorpio Xbox One, you still get a functioning good console. When you bought a 360 arcade, you got something that didn't work out of the box. You couldn't download DLC in a lot of cases. Like, you couldn't play Rock Band, you couldn't download songs, you had no storage space. I don't know what Nintendo's marketing strategy is anymore. I think Death2K is right, this does seem maybe like the 3DS is focused, especially the 2DS is focused on, this is rough and tumble just like your kids, it's probably not going to break. There weren't any kids in that trailer.
No, they were all adults.
20-something white people.
That thing wouldn't. I have a feeling that thing wouldn't survive in a dorm room.
No, like that's kind of the constant concern about tablets is unless you have like an OtterBox case on it, you drop it once and the whole thing just shatters. You know, Gorilla Glass is fine and all, but you drop that on the edge of a coffee table, it's still gonna poke right through there. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It's very interesting. Very good question. Rio H in Twitter asks, how important are endings to you in rating a game overall? I can lose a lot of overall fun if the ending to a game is meh. And then he has a second question here.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like if you don't have a good capstone, you can sort of look at an ending and you go, well, what was that all for? Like, what did I just do?
I think an ending can redeem a mediocre experience, too.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, his second question is, what are your favorite endings? Mine are long ones like D2, which I'm guessing is Diablo 2. Metal Gear Solid 2. It feels very rewarding to sit back for 15 plus minutes watching an ending. Yeah, MGS2 did have a... I like that game a lot. It had a pretty satisfying ending.
My favorite endings are the ones that just are what just happened.
Right. What is Assassin's Creed 2? Was it 2?
Brotherhood.
Yeah, it was Brotherhood. Yeah,
Brotherhood had that ending. You're like, what?
The ending
what?
was Minerva, where you're like, wait, that was awesome, but wait, what just happened? Wait, what happened? Wait, what? Why is it credits? What did I do? Grown Gamer says, if Lost Odyssey can nail an ending after a 4-disc game that hardly anyone will see, I have no remorse for others. Lost Endings Odyssey was incredible. I'm still not going to spoil it because people need to go play that game and it's widely available now. But man, that ending. What a good payoff for 4 discs.
Yes.
I was sort of worried about going into that one where you're like, oh, this can't be good. And you're like, ah, crap, that was really good. I feel like Final Fantasy VII had one foot in both camps, where it was really good, and it kind of ended on a cliffhanger that wasn't incredibly clear, but looked really cool.
Oh, man.
Sacred Herb says first Bioshock. Final boss battle was terrible. It was. But still one of my top 5 games of all time. I like Bioshock's ending because it was short and good. It's like 90 seconds for any of the endings.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like, alright, cool, I did that. Like, good or bad ending, alright, I did that. And also, that boss battle's over, thank God.
Yeah. Oh my God, Atlas, you sucked.
There was a really good interview with Ken Levine lately about the ending of Bioshock, where he's like, look, we painted ourselves into a corner. This was literally the best idea we had. We had no idea what to do.
Yeah, Mass Effect had a very satisfying... Mass Effect 2, in particular, had a very satisfying ending.
Yeah, Moonpier says Mass Effect 2, the last mission. Yeah, kind of that last mission, including... is like that last hour to 2 hours was pretty good.
Oh, you were just on edge that whole time.
Yep.
Oh, the ending of Dead Space 2. Holy crap.
Ending of Dead Space 1, actually.
Well, Dead Space 1 ending was great too, but right after the needle to the eye,
yeah,
from like that point on was just intense.
Dead Space 1, that whole last chapter was sort of like, wait, what happened? Wait, that was the whole, wait a minute, when? What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Moonpier, my wife says Jade Empire.
She trolled you. She totally trolled you. Why did you knew that was coming as soon as you saw Jade.
Jade Empire. So angry.
Both the Darksiders 1 ending was, you're like, yes, it is on.
That's Grown Gamer in chat. That's the right way to do a cliffhanger ending. You know, the wrong way is Halo 2, but the right way is you have a satisfying game that's long enough and good enough. You fight a good boss battle. The hero drops a cool line, and there's some cool stuff in the background, and then it's credits, and you're like, yeah, cool. Great. That's awesome.
We're still waiting to see what happens.
Someday. THQ's back, Knobs. Did you hear?
No. Oh my God. There's another great game that ended really well.
There was a game that ended really interestingly and didn't sell it enough, and it landed flat. That's Crackdown.
Oh, yeah. Well, both Crackdowns, I thought, ended with an oh, shoot moment.
Right. I really wish that Crackdown 1 would have sold it more, because it was a cool idea, but it sort of landed, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, that stinks.
Oh, my favorite thing with Crackdown 2 is like, oh my God, I am the bad guy.
Right.
Like, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, Crackdown 2 had that thing where, like, your hand was in the jar.
Yeah.
That was a better ending, where it's sort of like, oh. That's me. Yeah.
The giant the giant paw sitting in there.
Yeah.
The Maw had an amazing ending.
The Maw had a really good ending. More people need to play that. That was really good. Hey, you know what game has a really good ending? Rez.
Yes.
You free Eden. The world is back. Butterflies. It's beautiful. All right, let's move on to emails. Miguel P. writes in with an email titled, "Love the show. Hey, Boss and Knobs, I've been listening to the show via audio podcast for a couple years now. I have to drive about 3 hours on weekends, and the first hour and a half blows by thanks to your show." Sorry.
You're welcome, I guess.
The line was, "and the first hour and a half blows," and I was like, "Oh, bye, thanks to your show." And I was going to be like, why did you write? That's so mean. Just wanted to tell you guys I appreciate the show. Thank you very much. Now for a fun question. I know you're expecting a child soon, Boston. I have a 2-year-old son and cannot wait to play some games with him. What will be the first video game you show to your kid when they're old enough? It'll be Super Mario World for me. Thanks again, guys. Miguel P. Somebody asked that in chat the other day, and I sort of had a glib answer of Minecraft. But when I was thinking about it this past week, I think it's probably going to be something I'm playing that she wants to play. You know, obviously it's not going to be Doom, where it's like, yeah, Dad, let's kill Mars hell demons.
This is why you don't trust John Carmack.
Right. See this man? Hold up his picture. Never trust this man. I don't know. I feel like if I were to set up like a game I wanted her to play when she's old enough, I feel like that would probably be setting myself up for failure. It's like showing somebody a YouTube video that you really find funny. They don't like it at all, and you're just sitting there like, please kill me now. This is the worst. It'd be like if I was to have her play like Sonic 2, and I was like, look, this is one of your dad's favorite games of all time, and she's like, this is dumb. Why is he blue? This game sucks. And I'll be like, it's okay. I'll just be over here crying. You know, like, I would almost rather turn her loose, like, in my collection, in the archives, and just, it's like your dad's music collection, where it's like, this Led Zeppelin album looks cool. What's this? Let's try this.
I would probably section it off by generation, like, and just cherry pick 5 games from each generation, and once they get through and realize what this is about, see if they want to explore anything else in this timeline,
right? And
then graduate up to the next one, and give them more of a gaming history along with it. But if I had to shove a game down anyone's throat, it's gonna be Rez.
That's true,
and without a doubt, it's gonna be Rez and Katamari Damacy.
Katamari is really good. I think the other assumption too is that she'll like games. She might not. She might want to play Clash of Clans and Solitaire, and that's fine.
Depends on social hierarchy anymore. I don't think it's such a stigma as it was when we were growing up.
No,
because I'm talking to girls I went to high school with, and they talk about the games they used to play. It's like, I had no idea. We could have had so much to talk about.
Right. Yeah, I was talking to somebody. We had some visitors over at our house earlier, and I was playing Ratchet and Clank, and Crone Gamer says, "You'll play Borderlands and you'll like it, you little."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She said,
"Now you know why you're named Jack."
Right. That's good. I was talking to this woman I met for the first time, and her husband said, "Oh, she's not really a gamer." She says, "Yeah, I just play a lot of Clash of Clans. I'm kind of on that thing all the time." And it's like, that's kind of hardcore. Like, that's too much for me, man. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I think there isn't any social stigma, especially with how popular Minecraft is nowadays. But she might just not like to play games, and that's okay.
Well, I think it'd be funny. Like, I gotta have this go through my mind every once in a while. It's like, we're playing DOA, and I finally lose. I think I will have that moment where I set the control down and walk away. Right. My child just beat me in one-on-one basketball.
Right.
Like,
you're the master now.
I'm so defeated right now. I need to walk away.
Put a bindle over your shoulder, and it's like, well, you're the man of the house now.
All right. Good luck, kid. Go win some money.
Dad, I'm 8.
Too bad.
Right.
You should have let your pop win.
Yeah. All right, moving on to next email from Kevin from Cincinnati. His email's titled, "I've been playing some games." So he wrote in about 2 games we haven't been playing, so I sort of wanted to give him a chance to talk about him here. He says, I recently picked up 2 games, Raiden 5 and Shadow Warrior 2. Raiden 5 is easily the best Raiden game I played. It's an Xbox One exclusive for some odd reason, though. That's weird.
I had no idea that even came out.
Yeah, I didn't either. It was on sale via Deals with Gold for $12.50, 75% off. You can select from 3 different ships that have different attack, armor, and speed. You can select from 9 different weapon types that can be leveled up to 10. Also, the story mode is pretty wacky. There's a guy who's obsessed with coffee. This game is a blast. Raiden games have always been really great.
I still remember Raiden 3 for the Genesis. It was one of my favorite games of all time.
It was crazy. Raiden 3 came out for the Genesis. Raiden 4 came out for the 360.
Yes.
There were no other Raiden games in between. For what is that? 3 generations? 2 generations? Yeah. That's crazy.
I still remember like the background with that lava wave thing. What?
Yeah. He likes Raiden 3 a lot. Shadow Warrior 2 is great as well. At first I was turned off because of how different the design is from the 2013 reboot. The maps are procedurally generated and there are missions and side missions. This is really interesting. I'm going to take a sidebar here. The developer is actually very strident about saying they're not procedurally generated maps, they're randomly generated. So stuff can get crazy. They don't have like tile sets. They just dump random stuff into this map and stuff happens. So that's interesting.
Wow.
Apparently works really well.
When is this coming out on console?
Early next year. So just a couple months.
Okay.
Rubbed me the wrong way, but after playing a while, the combat is so good that I kind of forgot about the flaws. There are also kinds of weapons, loot, upgrades, elemental upgrades. But I don't focus on elemental upgrades, just DPS, because in a hectic shooter like this, I don't have time to manage elements of my weapons. I'd rather have all my weapons to be effective, and the game is well optimized as well. PC runs on it ultra with 0 issues. That's really interesting because it seems from everything I've seen, they basically took Shadow Warrior 2 and made a first-person Diablo 3. Like, there are named enemies that drop weapons. Sometimes they have elemental effects. But it's still Shadow Warrior, and it's still fast, and the weapons are crazy, and it still seems really good.
You need to give Shadow Warrior a chance.
It's in my pile. It's making its way up.
Like it's something that game. That's another one that was special. Like that one blew my mind. I still can't believe how fun that game was.
He continues. Also, the humor can turn people off as well, but you can turn Lo Wang off if he annoys you. But I like him. I think that's the one thing that they're really self-aware. You can turn his voice off. Everything else can be in the game. All of the other characters can talk. But you can... Now I was writing down the show title. Also, about halfway through the game, there's an exchange between the 3 characters. Literally made me laugh so hard I was in tears. Sorry for the long email. I honestly tried to keep it short. I just love talking about games. Thanks for reading, guys, and thanks for doing the show. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for writing in. Yes. It's nice to hear that Shadow Warrior 2 is different, but is still really good. That's really promising. Hopefully it'll have a console release date soon. But that's all of our emails and tweets. Thank you very much, everyone, for writing in. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Email us tvgpfans@gmail.com. Tweet us at tvgp. Send us all your stuff throughout the week. I'll just scoop them up and save them. And everything else on the right side of the map.
And don't forget to join the forums. Please mark yourselves on the map. Join us for our game nights. Monday night, 10 p.m. EST is probably going to be Battlefield 1 if everyone has it installed on time. If not, it'll be Gears 4. Horde mode. Tuesday, Destiny night. Wednesday, Settle Down. Rocket League, PlayStation 4 at 10 p.m. Thursday night is Steam game night. And I don't know. Find us on the weekends because we're going to be playing Battlefield.
So this game's month... Nope. This game's
month
is Saboteur. Still got some time to play it. And thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all next week.
See you. Really?
Nope.
Hey,
not
Squeaky.
Nope. Not yet.
Hey. Oh, my God.
One moment. They get so excited.
Ouch.
when they hear... They think it's the second later and not the first. They just want your attention, Nubs.
Boomer's bark is just the worst.
It's piercing.
Oh my gosh! You know what he's barking at. Like there'll be something like so. It'll be at the window. Sam's will be barking at some random person. How dare they walk down the sidewalk?
Right, like on the other side of the sidewalk.
Sitting right next to me, just rock, 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 rock. I'm like,
dude, chill. All right, titles. You have at least one.
I got two.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, actually, the one you probably know for sure is turn Lo Wang off because that is just
not gonna make it, but it's good.
That is just that is delicious. And pin pack dummies.
Oh, pin pack dummies. That's good.
That's a great one.
Pin pack dummies. It's not the one that's getting my vote, but it's a close second. So I have 12 bells. I shot a 48. I broke Street Date. We lost apples. And the one that has my vote, Bronze Beefsquatch.
Bronze Beefsquatch. This is a good one.
I also like We Lost Apples.
We Lost Apples is a good one. Let's see. Moon has... Its name was Betty, I think.
That's good.
His name was Robert Paulson. Eugene Levy's eyebrows. That's really good.
That's pretty good.
Let me see. No, now you know why you're named Jack.
That's pretty good.
And why is he blue? Cries.
That's pretty good too. Any other week it would have been I Broke Street Date because that's a great title.
I did. I cannot I'm never that guy.
Right, you're never
I always get it like a week late. I thought this just came out.
Right. I like We Lost Apples, Pin Pack Dummies, Bronze Beefsquatch. Bronze Beefsquatch just sounds so good.
I don't know how many times I say Beefsquatch in there.
It was a good couple of times. Anything you feel?
I'm okay with. I was gonna give you Pin Pack Dummies because that is solid.
Any other week, any of these could have won, but Bronze Beefsquatch just it rolls off the tongue.
All right, Bronze Beefsquatch it is.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 470 for October 24th, 2016. Bronze Beefsquatch.
Burgers and fries.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We always appreciate it. Really, really happy to see a ton of peeps chatting this week. I hope we all see you next week. That's all I had. Bye.
Yep.